Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? It's Buns. Tonight, let's talk WoW PvP. Really, let's talk World of Warcraft. Our topic tonight is World of Warcraft. Now, for those of you guys that are involved in the World of Warcraft scene or have been paying attention to Blizzard, this weekend is BlizzCon. And I spent most of my day today, pretty much from when I woke up at 11 o'clock till up until I made this video, watching the BlizzCon whole extravaganza, watching some of the events going on in the mainstream, but mainly watching the World of Warcraft arenas. Now, I watched the whole series and the games were absolutely awesome. High quality games, really high entertainment, awesome storylines going into it. There were a few matches today. By far, the most iconic match was Tempo Storm's third game. Absolutely crazy game. Went down to a 1v1 between Wealthy Man and Peekaboo came out on top. Absolutely crazy games today, and I was sitting there as a fan and as someone watching the whole World of Warcraft tournament, and I kind of reflected on myself. I'm like, you know what? These are moments like this that make the game so meaningful and make them so inspiring, and being able to sit there and watch the whole tournament, see everyone's faces, see everyone so excited and, happy to be there, be a part of the moment, really inspired me to put together a more condensed video on my ideas for why I love World of Warcraft. So I got involved into World of Warcraft when I was 8 years old. I ended up going over to my friend's house. His name is Zach and Trevor. They were two brothers. I went over there, and their brothers had the game for a few weeks. I ended up seeing it on their computer and being absolutely blown away by the graphics that they were playing. He was on, I think he was around his Night Elf Warrior, cruising around in Ashenvale, and the graphics just blew me away on the computer. And I never really jumped onto any big game on the computer. I think the only other things I've really played at that point when I was younger was maybe Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's about it. So barely touched the surface on my PC gaming. I grew up with all of the N64, GameCube when I was younger. So I was used to all the Mario stuff, and I just saw this game. I'm like, wow, this game looks awesome. I want to be part of it. And I remember everyone around my block, I had, 8 friends around my age, and we ended up all getting World of Warcraft and playing the game. And, it's really interesting because I think for most people, going into World of Warcraft, you probably heard it from a buddy. You probably heard it from someone that you met in real life, or someone that you know, maybe a cousin, family, relative, friend, someone you know at work, someone that you know as a person in real life going into the game. And it's really funny because World of Warcraft grew with the internet. So that's kind of how the internet was as well too, right? It's like people had AOL back then. You make your username with your buddies and then you add your buddies, right? It's crazy to look at World of Warcraft now, 12 years later. It's crazy to look at the internet now. People go onto the internet to meet people. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. And you just take that back 12, 15 years. That wasn't even necessarily the case, right? And now it's so accessible to all over the world. I remember for me as a child, as a kid, going into and playing World of Warcraft, I was captivated. I was entrenched, if that's the right word, into the story, really bought into it. You have your own character. I ended up playing a Night Elf Warrior. I loved, from the minute I saw that my older brother's friend playing the game, I loved Night Elves. I wanted to have my tiger mount ride around on it, and I decided to go with a warrior. I don't even remember why to this day. And I remember my tune specifically too. You can't even make this up. I never made it to level cap until Cataclysm for other reasons. But during that expansion, during vanilla, I never made it past level 48. I just had no idea what was going on in the game. I remember sitting there in the Zul'Farrak graveyard trying to tank and had no idea what I was doing, couldn't find a group, would just go around and try to do the quest, but my gear wasn't good. The game was it was struggle, but you had so much weight into your character. And I'm not trying to go down like some hole in the Stalarius road. That's not what this is about. But that's where I was when I was a kid, and there was so much investment into your tune. There was so much time involvement into your tune. And it very much started as you go into it with your friends. You go into it for what the game is. But it's always really funny, right? Because really, that's not why we stayed playing the game. And as my story continued, most of my immediate friends around where I lived ended up stopping the game by Burning Crusade. I only had 1 or 2 friends that even played during Burning Crusade, and they quit after that. The crazy thing is about World of Warcraft is how many people I've ended up meeting all around the world that I would have never had the opportunity to meet if it wasn't for World of Warcraft. Now, don't kid yourselves, Blizzard made a kick-ass game that everyone got an opportunity and loved to get involved and play it and fill out their fantasy, pick their character, choose a faction, Horde versus Alliance. I never really got into it that much, but I know that there's a ton of people out there that are very passionate about what faction they play, getting entrenched into the entire storyline. But then it grew off of that, right? You ended up meeting people in the game. Guilds happen, servers happen, faction rivalries, real ideas introduced in Cataclysm. You end up meeting people through that. PvP is able to group across realms. You can meet people just by meeting them in a dungeon and then deciding you want to group with them. So many more frequencies for how you can actually meet new people in the game. And the reason why I'm harking on this at this point is that the people in World of Warcraft and everyone that I was able to meet through my time playing the game is why the game is so valuable and important to me to this day, and why it played such a big part in my life. And I want to go talk on a point that I brought up a second ago, and that's I would have never have meeting most of these people had it not been World of Warcraft, right? So you could say, like, sure, there's that, like, 0.001% chance that maybe you meet one of the people that you met on World of Warcraft, right? I have been fortunate enough to meet people from New Zealand, Australia, Europe, Canada land, Mexico, all over the world, even other parts of the United States that, you know, good chance that I probably won't even go to half of those states during my lifetime, right? Absolutely awesome game. And as the game grew itself and as the story brought us in, we were able to meet people along the way. For my journey specifically, I'd been playing this game for a very long time, since I was 8 years old, as I had said before. So I was always a little kid. I grew up playing in the 19 XP off Twinking community pretty much since I was 8 years old up until this past summer. Now, from time to time, I would go play in other areas of the game, but never very seriously. I grew up as someone that would play in the 19 Battleground bracket at lower levels. And it was awesome because I met so many wonderful people through my World of Warcraft experience. I remember back in Burning Crusade, I spent months trying to get into this guild called Laughing Skull for the win on Laughing Skull, on Horde, which was, what was the name of the battle group off the top of my head? Vindication, there we go. Back in the battle group age of World of Warcraft. I'm amazed I actually remembered that. Vindication, Laughing Skull, Horde. I remember spending so much time and effort trying to get into that guild, get my gear up to date, get my enchants ready, just so I could get invited. And then I remember finally getting accepted, begging people every single day to try to get in, and they basically just let me in after me bitching for about a month to try to get in, because I didn't have any money, I didn't have a main on the server, so I would just have to ask people for stuff, and I'm, just your typical little, like, 8-year-old playing World of Warcraft, right? I ended up eventually getting into that guild, and it had a huge impact on my life, and that was really the opening experience for me, where the game became a family. I really, as a kid, grew up in Laughing Skull for the win, in this guild that I played in. Now, I know that this is my specific experience, and for you guys, you probably have your own guild, whether it's a PvP guild, whether it's a PvE guild, raiding, arenas, whatever, so it be, Gachi guild, I don't care. You probably have a guild of people or a family, group of friends that you play the game with that you met through the game and ended up growing with. Well, that was the case for me. I ended up growing in this community as the little kid, literally like the only little kid, and in my guild or whatever I played in. And I was so fortunate to be surrounded by awesome people throughout pretty much my entire time playing World of Warcraft that helped me along the way, taught me what was going on, were very friendly to me even as a young kid, were respectful of that, rather than just being a fucking cockhead, which some people are in the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. It makes the game more meaningful, which I'll get to in a little bit as well, too. But I go along my story, kind of grew up through the game, grew up playing with people. And it's funny, because I think that we really lose sight of that, right? Of course, World of Warcraft is a beautiful game, does a lot, has a great background for people to get involved in and have interest for wanting to play it in the first place. But the reason why that we end up staying and spending so much time commitment to the game, keep coming back throughout the years through the expansions, whether or not we think they're going to be good, we at least give them a try because of the people that play the game, right? It's a social atmosphere. We have people that have been playing this game like myself for 12 years. It's more than half of my life. It's crazy. And to think about that, I remember when I was a younger kid, and, maybe some of you guys will be able to relate with me, that those of you that are younger. When I was younger, it was really weird for me. Like, I would never want to tell people that I played World of Warcraft. And I feel like, honestly, for some weird reason, that whole, bad stigma that really came from that, South Park episode. Even though it was a great episode and people loved it, right? That whole, stigma for, playing World of Warcraft, really, reflected poorly on you for a while. I feel like because of that episode, everyone just pictured, some weird dude eating freaking Cheetos out of his belly button and, freaking poning people. Sword of a Thousand Truths, there you go, the slayer of the big dude. Anyways, I wanted to talk on that because I remember for a very long time, I was kind of, ashamed that I played World of Warcraft. And I wouldn't want to tell people about it because it felt like some closet thing at first. And I feel like, people my age, or maybe there's other people out there as well too, that probably felt like that for a long time. And I realized over a very long time, it probably wasn't until Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, I just been playing this game so much, it's it's no different than if someone goes to a recreational basketball center every day, right? It's no different if you go to a book club every day. It's no different if you do whatever you want to do as a person, whatever you like and are invested into, be proud of that. You don't have to be ashamed of that. And I finally was just like, you know what? Fuck it. If people don't like it, whatever. Then they don't like me. I don't like them. We weren't supposed to meet in the first place. Not a big deal, right? You just get to that point where that's comfortable for you. And I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And that especially broke in for me when I started streaming and when I got involved making YouTube videos and doing podcasts for BIS Nation, which was with my friend Yubi. I just got a lot more comfortable talking with people about it through that whole process of doing the podcast and streaming and putting together now YouTube videos as well too, because you just get more comfortable talking about it. But I always feel like it's that first knock on the door where it's like, yeah, you play World of Warcraft? Oh, that dude's a nerd, bro. Wow, big deal. I guess back in the day, I guess that's weird, but now it's cool to be on the internet. There's a lot of things going well for not just World of Warcraft, not just for Blizzard, but the whole direction of gaming, Twitch, YouTube, everything's going in the right direction. It's really trending, and now it's something to be proud of. Not that it wasn't before, but it's easier for people to jump on the train because there's a lot of momentum now, as opposed to back in the day when people were playing Closet WoW back in vanilla. A little different experience, right? So, why the game is so meaningful to me mainly harks on that I have an opportunity to share that experience with. And I personally spend way more time with people that I do on the internet than in real life. And that's something for me that's a little weird to kind of think about. I mean, maybe outside of my family, right? Outside of my immediate family, my mom, my brother, and my dad, I spend more time with people on the internet than I do with my friends in real life. And for a very long time, and I think maybe some of you guys can relate as well too, that's kind of a weird topic to talk about. It's kind of a weird self-reflection to make. And I think that that's one of the areas where prior to me being comfortable talking about playing World of Warcraft with people that I know on a daily basis at school or friends or at sports or something like that, for why one of the reasons was uncomfortable, because they're like, well, how do you get to know people that are halfway against the internet or across the world or whatever? And it's it's weird how that is, right? Because I feel like that the internet and this connection, right? I always relate it to this. When I talk about it on stream and people ask me, I always relate it to this. It's no different than going, if you like sports, than going out to, the rec center, right? You go with friends, maybe you're going on your own, but you're going to meet people that are going to share a common interest in something. Just like World of Warcraft, right? You have a common passion for gaming. You're putting yourself out there to meet other people that have that common passion for gaming. It's understandable that you like hanging out with the people that you have something in common with, right? That all makes sense, and that's exactly why I think it's easy for people that game to understand that, because you are thrown into that situation. But for people outside of gaming, now I feel like in this day and age it's been warmed up to a lot more because of how fluid the technology is and internet, and how accessible things like YouTube streaming helps make that personal connection more of a reality than it was in the past. But now people are more warm and fuzzy to it. They get the idea. But really at the end of the day, it is kind of weird that even though you do spend a lot of time with everyone, that you don't get to see people. And I feel like that's another topic on its own. But the day that there is an opportunity for people to meet year-round across the internet is really the day where the internet goes full circle. That's another topic on its own, so I'm going to leave it on the side. But very cool experience, right? It's kind of like the Nerds Rec Center. That's World of Warcraft in this example. There's other games out there as well, too. You meet people, common passion. No wonder you like each other. And for me personally, this is what I really wanted to get into. I'm better friends with most people that I play World of Warcraft with than I am with people in real life. And I feel like that, once again, is directly related to what we have in common and how much time you spend with someone, right? I spend a ton of time with people that I play with in the game. Whether or not it's people in my guild, whether or not it's people I'm personal friends with, people that are on the stream that I talk to all the time. I just spend an inordinate amount of time playing this game, and there's nothing to be ashamed about for that, but it makes sense why that is the case. It's a time spent ratio to how much you actually spend time with the person, right? So it'd be the same thing if you're down at your book club, right? If you spend, 20 hours a week at your book club, you're probably going to like or dislike the people that you're at the book club with, and then go find another book club if you dislike the people, right? You're spending time with people that you enjoy being with. And I feel like more than anything, that's something that Blizzard and World of Warcraft get overlooked for more than anything. The reason why Blizzard and World of Warcraft made such a beautiful game when they made World of Warcraft is they gave people around the world the opportunity to share their same passion and love for gaming in an online social environment where they can use their creativity to do different things, whether or not it be in PvE, whether or not you make a PvP battleground guild, arena guild, so have it, right? They gave people an opportunity to create and share their own journeys within the game to have a wonderful experience with people out there that share the similar interests. And I wanted to take some time today because I was watching BlizzCon and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And every time I watch an event like this, I always get like really emo personally, because I'm like, man, I want to go to something like that at some point in my life, because it's just wonderful to see how many people get to have a positive opportunity. It's always so positive seeing how many people have been impacted by Blizzard games. One thing that I think that World of Warcraft specifically has done a great job at, and I didn't really think about it up until this expansion, because Blizzard actually made a few additions to what I'm going to talk about, is Blizzard and World of Warcraft does a great job at rewarding and involving people that are heavily involved in their community to be a part of what the World of Warcraft Blizzard Dream stands for. And today, it's amazing to sit there and watch the BlizzCon World of Warcraft tournament and see, all the people commentating, right? These are all former players. These are all people that have been involved in World of Warcraft for a number of years. I think more than anything, the thing today that really kind of tugged my heart a little bit was seeing the emotion, the passion of people. We forget a lot of the time as people that play over the internet, and especially I deal with this on streaming all the time. For good or for worse, we forget that people are people sometimes. And I think that BlizzCon World of Warcraft helps make that a reality, right? It's very easy to sit on World of Warcraft and have someone message you and just think it's, like a robot, right? It's very easy to see that. You see no face, no personal connection unless the person's like streaming or making videos. It's hard to get attached to that person. It's very easy to treat them however you wish and not really put that much weight and merit into. And it's something that I hold high to myself to try to respect people when I see them. Now, if someone's being a fucking cockhead to me, I have no problem telling them off because they're a cockhead, and at that point they deserve it. But it's important to remember that people are people. And I feel that the opportunity of BlizzCon to roll around gives the World of Warcraft community, gives the entire Blizzard fan base community that opportunity to be able to meet and share that passion that they've had for playing with all of these people for however long in your life, whatever endeavors that you encounter in your BlizzCon, Blizzard adventures, to be able to actually meet. And I think that that is a wonderful opportunity, and you can tell that people cherish that for good or for worse. Competitors, people are going there as fans, people that are involved in the World of Warcraft company. More than anything, I just wanted to say thank you. I really wanted to thank you, Blizzard, World of Warcraft, everyone that plays the game, that makes a part of the World of Warcraft community, because it's really the fan base, it's really the people that are involved playing, designing, building the game that make it worth anything, right? If it was just a bunch of robots designing the game and you're fighting off against NPCs, there's no value or merit or any worth really to World of Warcraft. It's just all of the people and how involved we can get in one another's lives to be able to share that connection that makes World of Warcraft a beautiful, wonderful experience. And during the midst of BlizzCon, I felt that this was the pinnacle of time to talk about this topic. It's something I feel very strongly about, and I want to challenge you guys to really appreciate the people that you play with, right? That's my final note I want to end on. Cherish the people that you play with. Be happy for the opportunity that you have to not only just meet each other, talk to each other every day, but also the people that you don't know, people that you want to meet into the future, and whatever encounters that you may experience in World of Warcraft. I want you guys to remember that everyone behind the keyboard is a person, right? And I think that that's extremely easy to forget. For good or for worse, be open to meeting new people, be open to treating people as people. That's the final note I want to end on, and it's what makes World of Warcraft a beautiful game to play. Thank you, Blizzard, for all the effort and work you put into this game, for allowing us to have this opportunity to be involved and play in your playground. Thank you guys for watching the video. Appreciate all of the support on the channel. I will catch you guys on the next video. Keep it easy, everyone. Peace. Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? It's Buns. Welcome back to the Road to Gladiator. Tonight, we are live with some 3v3 arena games I was able to play during this afternoon, and it was really to a surprise because I was sitting